Hey, hey fam, peace and blessings. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all been? Okay. Well, let's pray real quick. You wanna pray? Okay. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. In Jesus' name, amen. Most gracious Savior, I thank you for allowing this time to go over some word. I pray that you be in this, help guide this, and that we get some edification from it and grow from it. Amen. All right. So yeah, how y'all doing? It's a little dark in here. Let me cut this light on, see if that helps a little bit. Okay, so I just wanted to point out some stuff in this one that we may not really think about. And right now, some other verses coming to mind. I just grabbed some verses real quick. So we're going to see how this goes. But I'm going to start off with the law in Leviticus 15. I should start at 12. Yeah, I'm going to start at 12. It's a little out of order. But just some good information to know, as especially being a sister. So, Leviticus 12:1. So we know this, and then we're going to get to some other stuff that we may not know or just may have overlooked or not really thought about. But it says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, If a woman have conceived seed and born a man-child, then she shall be unclean 7 days. According to the days of the separation for her infirmity, so shall she be unclean." So, basically, if a woman has a son, then she's unclean for 7 days. It doesn't stop there, though. And in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. And she, oh goodness, y'all, I don't know what's up with these slurring words. And she shall then continue in the blood of her purification 3 and 30 days. She shall touch no hollow thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purification be fulfilled. So that's 33 days plus 7 days. So she's unclean for 40 days after having a boy. Then it says, "But if she bear a maid child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks, and as in her separation, and she shall continue in the blood of her purification 66 days." So if she has a female child, it's different. She'll be unclean 2 weeks, but she'll be separated 66 days. So that's a score is 20. So that's 66 days plus that 2 weeks. And when the days of her purifying are fulfilled for a son or for a daughter, she shall bring a lamb of the first year for a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove for a sin offering, unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, unto the priest, who shall offer it before the Lord, and make an atonement for her, and she shall be cleansed from the issue of her blood. This is the law for her that hath borne a male or a female. So I find it interesting that And we're talking about all women. So we're talking about women that are married, and she is still bringing forth a burnt offering for a sin offering. I'm curious what y'all think about that. That is pretty interesting to me. And then it says, and if she be not able to bring a lamb, then she shall bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, the one for the burnt offering and the other for a sin offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for her, and she shall be clean. So, I know me coming up, I had no idea that a woman is supposed to be separated from everything. It's one thing to be separated during a period, but it's a whole nother thing to be separated after childbearing, after having a daughter or a son, as it says, that has born a male or a female. So, we should be teaching our daughters, our young ladies, to stay in the house. Yes, the hospital. Yes, you feel fine and dandy. You want to get up and go to the WIC office. You want to get up and go do this and go do that. But we should be teaching them, no, stay in the house. Come out as little as possible. Aside from the fact that, we have an instruction on the 8th day. That doesn't mean that she had to leave the house. And I forgot what else I was about to say. It'll probably come back to me. My battery was dying and it kind of threw me off. So let's go to Leviticus 15 and see what other laws were in here specifically for us women. So we are at Leviticus 15 and verse 16. It says, and if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water and be unclean until the even. So y'all know what we talking about. Seed of copulation. Seed that make a baby. It says, and every garment and every skin whereon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water and be unclean until the even. The woman also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water and be unclean until the even. So, you lay with somebody, you need to go wash it. Period. And it's unclean. You're unclean until the even. But let's see what else can make us unclean. Verse 19. And if a woman have an issue, and her issue in her flesh be blood, she shall be put apart 7 days, and whosoever toucheth her shall be unclean until the even. So, when a woman back in those days had her cycle, she was completely set out of the camp. I can get into some, being set out for being unclean, trying to find out, if a person had clean or unclean leprosy, things of that sort. But they were completely put out. And it says, whoever touch her is unclean until the even. And everything that she lieth upon in her separation shall be unclean. Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean. And whosoever toucheth her bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even. And whosoever toucheth anything that she sat upon shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even. And if it be on her bed or on anything wherein she sitteth, where he toucheth it, he shall be unclean until the even. And if any man lie with her at all, and her flowers be upon him, he shall be unclean 7 days, and all the bed wherein he lieth shall be unclean. So, basically, every last thing that she touches is unclean. But this verse right here, it says, and if it be on her bed. Now, see, before it was saying if she be on the bed. But this is saying if it, I done leaked and now it's on the bed. It's on the chair that I was sitting on, whatever. And he touched the bed. He shall be unclean for the even. But if he laying down with her, they laying down in the bed, and they get on the bed and it gets on him, he is unclean for 7 days. And the bed is unclean. And if a woman shall have an issue of blood many days out of the time of her separation, or if it run beyond the time of her separation, all the days of the issue of her uncleanness shall be as the days of her separation. She shall be unclean. So if a woman had a long cycle, so let's say you had a short cycle. You bleed for 3 days. You get set out of the camp for 7 days, period. But if you had a long cycle and it's outside of the time of her separation, because it says separate her for 7 days. So you've had a issue for 9 days. Then you're sitting outside of the camp for 9 days. Okay, I'm going to read it again. It say, and if a woman have an issue of blood many days out of the time of her separation, or if it run beyond the time of her separation, all the days of the issue of her uncleanness shall be as the days of her separation. She shall be unclean. Every bed whereon she lieth all the days of her issue shall be unto her as the bed of her separation. And whatsoever she sitteth upon shall be unclean, as the uncleanness of her separation. And whosoever touches those things shall be unclean, and shall wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and be unclean until the even. But if she be cleansed of her issue, then she shall number to herself 7 days, and after that she shall be clean. And on the 8th day she shall take unto her 2 turtles or young pigeons, and bring them into the priest to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall offer the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. And the priest shall make an atonement for her before the Lord for the issue of her uncleanness. And I'm going to just finish this out. Thus shall ye separate the children of Israel from their uncleanness, that they die not in their uncleanness, when they defile my tabernacle that is among them. This is the law of him that hath an issue, and of him whose seed goeth from him, and is defiled therewith, and of her that is sick of her flowers, and of him that hath an issue of the man, and of the woman, and of him that lieth with her that is unclean. Now, on the lieth with her, sometimes when it says lying with her, it's talking about intercourse. And sometimes it's just talking about sex. And we're gonna look at that too. But let's look at chapter 18, verse 19. It says, and thou shalt not approach unto a woman to uncover her nakedness, as long as she is put apart for her uncleanness. So we just saw that when a woman is on her cycle, she was put apart, because everything that she touched was unclean. Everything that she sat on was unclean. Everything that she laid on was unclean. And if she got it on somebody else, they were unclean for a whole week. So this is talking about laying with her as far as sex is concerned in this one. Because if we keep reading, we see that they're talking about sex. So it says, ceiling fan working too good. It says, moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife to defile thyself with her. Thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire of Molech, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy God. I am the Lord. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is abomination. Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto. It is confusion. Defile not ye yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations are defiled, which I cast out before you. And the land is defiled, therefore I do visit the iniquity thereupon upon it. And the land itself vomiteth out her inhabitants. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation, nor any stranger that sojourneth among you. For all these abominations have the men of the land done, which were before you, and the land is defiled. So we see that's talking about two different things. This one is talking about if you lie with a woman during her uncleanness, during her cycle, that is an abomination. And then over here, it's talking about if it be on the bed, if you lie with her and it gets on you, then you're unclean for 7 days. So there's a difference in I'm on my cycle and the blood got on you, you unclean for 7 days, and I'm on my cycle and you want to lay with me in my uncleanness. That he called an abomination. For these are abomination, right? So I also put some let's look at and take into consideration the woman in Luke. We go on to Luke 8. I want, because when I read these things about these sisters, I should have put the jealousy one in here too. I try to put myself into their shoes and try to understand how they must have felt, right? So this is Luke 8, verse 43. It says, and a woman having an issue of blood 12 years, which has spent all her living upon physicians, neither could be healed of any. This woman, that right there, she had an issue of blood for 12 years. That means she was put out the camp for 12 years. Everything she touched was unclean. Everything she sat on, she couldn't lay with a man, and nobody could heal her. I couldn't even imagine being put apart for 12 years. I mean, that was basically her house. People get on their cycle, they come in and leave, and she's still there. Have a baby, come in and leave, and she's still there. That had to be horrible. That explains why she tried so hard just to touch him. Verse 44 says, came behind him and touched the border of his garment, and immediately her issue of blood stanched. And Jesus said, who touched me? When all denied, Peter and they that were with him said, Master. The multitude, I don't know why my Bible look like this. I can't hardly read it. It's like the letters bleeding through. Let me see. That helps. It doesn't help. Okay. It says, when all denied, Peter and they that were with him said, Master, the multitude throng thee and press thee, and sayest thou, who touched me? So they like, man, everybody pushing up against you and pressing you, and you said, who touched me? He felt that power. And Jesus said, somebody had touched me, for I perceive that virtue is gone out of me. And when the woman saw that she was not hid, she came trembling and falling down before him. She declared unto him before all the people for what cause she had touched him, how she was healed immediately. And he said unto her, Daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith hath made thee whole. Go in peace. So I just wanted to bring this one out to try to imagine. I mean, it's one thing like, okay, I'm on my cycle. I got these hormones going wild. I got attitude. What they call it? Not postpartum. PMS. PMS going on. So I'm outside the camp with all the rest of these people with this PMS and with these sisters that have just had babies and, all of this other kind of stuff possibly. But to be there for 12 years, set apart, considered unclean for 12 years, had to be something else. Had to be something else. Let's go back to the old Leviticus 19 and 15. I said Leviticus. Look at me. I'm tired, y'all. I don't know what is going on with these words. Don't want to come out of my mouth. Exodus is what I wanted to say. Exodus 19 and 15. And this is just one example. It's plenty, well, not plenty more, but there's another example of this. But it says, let's see, I ain't gonna even read into it. It says, and he said unto the people, be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives. So they are getting ready for war. I might as well read it. Okay, so verse 1, it says, in the third month, when the children of Israel were going forth out of the land, there it is, y'all, out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim, and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. And Moses went up unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, thus shalt thou say unto the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me, above all people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before their faces all these words which the Lord commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord hath spoken we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, lo, come thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, go unto the people and sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and be ready against the third day. For the third day the Lord will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. And just to throw in real quick, I'm gonna wait. Let me finish reading. 12. And thou shalt set bounds unto the people round about, saying, take heed to yourselves, that ye go not up into the mount, or touch the border of it. Whosoever touches the mount shall surely be put to death. There shall not an hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned and shot through. Whether it be beast or man, it shall not live. When the trumpet soundeth long, they shall come up to the mount. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people, and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives. Right? So the reason he said that was because of the verses that we read earlier. that seed of copulation, it does make you unclean. And they had to wash themselves. They had to be clean. They got to be clean when they coming before the Lord. So that's why it's said on Sabbath Eve, you should not be coming at your wives. And we see why. It said, when we read it in Leviticus, it said you will be clean until the even. Well, if it's even and it's Sabbath Eve, you got a whole even to get through. You got the whole night and a day to get through until you get to that eve to be clean. So that was something to look at and to take into consideration. And that is the same reason why before games players are told not to have sex. It kind of, it does something to you. It does something to you. So we're going to do Deuteronomy 22 verse 13 through the chapter and look at what it says here now to take into consideration, because as women, we need to understand how we are viewed in the Lord so that we can remain humble. I know it humbled me. It says, and this is Deuteronomy 22 verse 13. If any man take a wife and go in unto her and hate her, and give occasion to speak against her, and bring an evil name upon her, and say, I took this woman, and when I came into her, I found her not a maid. So basically, I got this woman, she wasn't no virgin. 15. Then shall the father of the damsel and her mother take and bring forth the token of the damsel's virginity unto the elders of the city in the gate. And the damsel's father shall say unto the elders, I gave my daughter unto this man to wife, and he hath hated her. And lo, he hath given occasion of speech against her, saying, I found not thy daughter a maid, and yet these are the token of my daughter's virginity. And they shall spread the cloth before the elders of the city. And the elders of that city shall take that man and chastise him. So we see that this man is being chastised. But think about how the woman would feel. How would you feel? How would you feel if this had to be done for you? Like, not good, right? 19. And they shall immerse him in 100 shekels of silver, and give them unto the father of the damsel, because he hath brought an evil name upon a virgin of Israel. And she shall be his wife, and he may not put her away all his days. So all it's talking about is what the man is doing. But imagine how that woman feel. You did this. You lied on me. You embarrassed me, made me go before the elders. And now I'm stuck with you for the rest of your days. Like, can you imagine how she felt? But if this thing be true, and the tokens of virginity be not found for the damsel, then they shall bring out the damsel to the door of her father's house. And the men of her city shall stone her with stones, that she die, because she had wrought folly in Israel, to play the whore in her father's house. So shall thou put evil away from among you. So if it was true, oh, then it's really bad, because the whole city in on it now. Like, it's horrible. If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband, then they shall both of them die, both the man that lay with the woman and the woman. So shalt thou put away evil from Israel. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, so if this virgin is promised to be married to somebody, and a man find her in the city and lie with her, then they shall bring them both unto the gate of the city, and ye shall stone them with stones, that they die. The damsel, because she cried not, being in the city, and the man, because he has humbled his neighbor's wife. So thou shalt put away evil from among you. So in this situation, she knew she was supposed to be married to somebody. She was promised to somebody else. She was engaged. So if he lied with her, but she not fighting back because she not crying, she in the place where she could be heard, then they will both die. It says 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, so betrothed, she is engaged basically, and the man force her and lie with her, then the man only that lay with her shall die. But unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. So we see the difference here. This woman wasn't for it. She wasn't going along with it. She knew she was married to be with somebody else, and he forced himself on her. She couldn't do anything, so only he died. She's good, right? 28. If a man find a damsel that is a virgin, which is not betrothed, and lay hold on her and lie with her, and they be found, then that man that lay with her shall give unto the damsel's father 50 shekels of silver, and she shall be his wife, because he hath humbled her, and he may not put her away all his days. So much for, and we're gonna go to that one too. I'm gonna pull it up. So much for sex make you marry, because it says if he find this virgin, she's not to be married with anybody. He lie hold of her. He take her and lay with her. He got to pay the father, and she shall be his wife. Let me see. Let me find that other verse. And I probably got it written down here. Let me see. Verse 16. No. Let's see. Because this is so much for that. Endow her. Exodus 22 and 16. So, I did have it written down. I said no when I said it. This one says, and if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. That is what we basically just read over there in Deuteronomy. So if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed, so he convince her to lay with him, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. He shall surely make an engagement with her. He should surely do this. Not she is automatically his wife, but he shall surely do this. And then there's stipulation. If her father utterly refuse, so he should do this, but the father could be like, nah, pay me my money and get on. Pay me my money and get on. If her father utterly refuse to give her unto him, he shall pay money according to the dowry of virgins. And we read over there, he should pay 50 shekels. Right? Let's look at an example where sex did not make them married. This is Judges 19. And we're going to start at verse 1. Oh, that's not it. Wait a minute. It's Genesis. I'm going to come back to Judges. It's Genesis. Way in the beginning. Genesis 34 and 1. It says, and Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bare unto Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lied with her and defiled her. So that goes along with what we just read in Deuteronomy and Exodus. He found a maid that was not betrothed, enticed her to lay, and he defiled her. Why is she defiled? Because that seed of copulation, and she's not married. It says, and his soul clave unto Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the damsel, and spake kindly unto the damsel. So it's just talking about him, but it sounds like they're in love, right? That's what it sounds like to me. And Shechem spake unto his father Hamor, saying, get me this damsel to wife. He like, Dad, I want her. That's my wife right there. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. And people think of that as saying, oh, he raped her. That's not what I'm getting from this story. I'm not getting nothing about a rape. Defiled because of that seed of copulation we just read, where it make you unclean. The clothes that it touched, the person that it touched, all of that is unclean. And we know that she's not married because he's asking, hey, give me her to wife. But I'm not seeing rape here. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah, his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace until they were come. And Hamor, the father of Shechem, went out unto Jacob and communed with him. And the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it, and the men were grieved, and they were very wroth, because he had wrought folly in Israel in lying with Jacob's daughter, which things ought not to be done. Now, this shouldn't have been done for two reasons. For one, because they did it out of order. For two, because he's a Hivite. He's not an Israelite. He's not of their bloodline. You're not supposed to, be mixing at this point. Verse 8. And Hamor communed with them, saying, the soul of my son Shechem longeth for your daughter. I pray you, give him her to wife. So it's like, look, my son is in love with your daughter. Like in love. Not just want to lay with her and mistreat her. Not just want to hit it and quit it. But he want to wife her. He's in love with her. Right? It says, and make ye marriages with us, and give your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you. And ye shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade ye therein, and get you possessions therein. And Shechem said unto her father, and unto her brethren, let me find grace in your eyes, and what ye shall say unto me I will give. Ask me never so much dowry and give, and I will give according as ye shall say unto me. But give me thy damsel to wife. He like, look, whatever you want, I love her. Whatever you want, I'm going to give it to you. Whatever you ask right now, just let me marry her. That's my wife. I love her, right? And the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father deceitfully and said, because he had defiled Dinah their sister, So they lying, because you should have came and asked for her before you laid with her. They probably would have said no, but that's just me inserting some stuff right there. Let's continue. And they said unto them, we cannot do this thing, to give our sister to one that is uncircumcised, for that were a reproach unto us. But in this we will consent unto you, if ye will be as we be, that every male of you be circumcised. Then will we give our daughters unto you, and we will take your daughters to us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. But if ye will not hearken unto us to be circumcised, then will we take our daughters, and we will be gone. And their words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son. And the young men deferred not to do the thing, because he had delight in Jacob's daughter, and he was more honorable than all the house of his father. And Hamor and Shechem his son came unto the gate of their city, and communed with the men of their city, saying, These men are peaceable with us. Therefore let them dwell in the land, and trade therein. For the land, behold, it is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us for wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only herein will the men consent unto us for to dwell with us, to be one people, if every male among us be circumcised, as they are circumcised. Shall not their cattle and their substance and every beast of theirs be ours? Only let us consent unto them, and they will dwell with us. And unto Hamor and unto Shechem his son hearkened all that went out of the gates of his city, and every male was circumcised, all that went out the gate of his city. So they agreed. They followed through. Every male was circumcised. 25. And it came to pass, And it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, that two of the sons of Jacob, Simeon and Levi, Dinah's brethren, took each man his sword, and came unto the city boldly, and slew all the males. And they slew Hamor and Shechem his son with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house, and went out. So they circumcised them, while the men healing and in pain, they went up in there and killed them. Killed all of them, and took their sister, like, you can't have her. And the sons of Jacob came upon the slain, and spoiled the city, because they had defiled their sister. So, imagine that. Being a woman in those days. I'm sure Dinah didn't even know what was going on when they lied to him. So, she in love with this man. He done begged, please let me have her as a wife. I'll do whatever you say. I'll give you whatever you want. Just please let me have her. And then let's not just stop there, but you give us your daughters and wives for wives, and we'll give you our daughters for wives, and we could be together. And they like, cool, we'll do that. Circumcise them while they in pain. Went up in there, killed them, and took her. Imagine how she felt. It's pretty hard. But now imagine this one. This one right here in Judges 19. I just paint a picture like it's horrible. Verse 1. And it came to pass in those days, when there was no king in Israel, that there was a certain Levite sojourning on the side of Mount Ephraim, who took to him a concubine out of Bethlehem, Judah. And his concubine played the whore against him, and went away from him unto her father's house to Bethlehem, Judah, and was there 4 whole months. So, this man got him a concubine. She obviously didn't want to be there, because it says she played the whore against him and went away from him. She ran back home. I'm going back to my daddy's house. Right? She was there 4 whole months. Now, playing the whore, did she sleep with somebody? Or did she just not fall in line? Did she decide not to obey her husband? Not to be under him as her head? Don't know. It says she played the whore against him, though. Verse 3. And her husband arose and went after her, and speak friendly unto her, and to bring her again, having his servant with him, and a couple of asses. And she brought him into her father's house. And when the father of the damsel saw, he rejoiced to meet him. Since I read that verse, do you see why I'm asking? What does it mean by played the whore against him and went away from him unto her father's house? Because if she had laid with somebody else, she would be dead. Right? But let's keep reading. And yeah, I don't want to give too much away. Okay, so let's keep reading. And his father-in-law, the damsel's father, retained him, and he abode with him 3 days. So they did eat and drink and lodge there. And it came to pass on the 4th day, when they arose early in the morning, that he rose to depart. And the damsel's father said unto his son-in-law, Comfort thine heart with a morsel of bread, and afterwards go your way. So he like, hold on, don't leave yet. Just hold, eat a little bit real quick, and then go. And they sat down and did eat and drink, both of them together. For the damsel's father had said unto the man, Be content, I pray thee, and tarry all night, and let thine heart be merry. So he like, just chill. Just stay with us tonight. Have a good time. Be happy, you know. And when the man rose up to depart, his father-in-law urged him, therefore he lodged there again. And he arose early in the morning on the 5th day to depart, and the damsel's father said, Comfort thine heart, I pray thee. And they tarried until afternoon, and they did eat, both of them. So, looking at this situation, it looks like this man married off his daughter to somebody that he really liked, and the daughter didn't like it, and the daughter ran away and went back home. And so the man like, don't leave. I gotta get this situated. Like, hold on, don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. I need more time to convince you, maybe. Right? Okay, verse 9. And when the man rose up to depart, he and his concubine and his servant, his father-in-law, the damsel's father, said unto him, Behold, now the day draweth toward evening. I pray you tarry all night. Behold, the day groaneth to an end. Lodge here, that thine heart may be merry. And tomorrow get you early on your way, that thou mayest go home. But the man would not tarry that night. But he rose up and departed, and came over against Jebus, which is Jerusalem. And there were with him 2 asses saddled, his concubine also with him. And when they were by Jebus, the day was far spent. And the servant said unto his master, Come, I pray thee, and let us turn into the city of the Jebusites, and lodge in it. And his master said unto him, We will not turn aside hither into the city of a stranger. This that is not of the children of Israel, we will pass over to Gibeah. And he said unto his servant, Come, and let us draw near to one of those places to lodge all night in Gibeah or in Ramah. And they passed on and went their way. And the sun went down upon them when they were in Gibeah, which belongeth to Benjamin. And they turned aside thither to go in and to lodge in Gibeah. And when he went in, he sat him down in a street of the city. And there was no man that took him into his house to lodge. And behold, there came an old man from his work out of the field at even, which was also of Mount Ephraim. And he sojourned in Gibeah, but the men of the place were Benjamites. I'm sorry, y'all. It's so hard for me to read this. It's bleeding through. 17. And when he had lifted up his eyes, he saw a wayfaring man in the street of the city. And the man said, Whither thou goest, and whence comest thou? And he said unto him, We are passing from Bethlehem, Judea, toward the side of Mount Ephraim. From thence am I. And I went to Bethlehem, Judea. But I am now going to the house of the Lord, and there is no man that receiveth me to his house. Yet there is both straw and provender for our asses, and there is bread and wine also for me, for thy handmaid, and for thy young man, which is thy servants. There is no want of anything. And the old man said, Peace be with thee. Howsoever, let all thy wants lie upon me. Only lodge not in the street. So he brought the man into his house and gave provender for the asses, and they washed their feet and did eat and drink. Let me see, where is it? Okay, it's coming. 22. Now, as they were making their hearts merry, behold, the men of the city, certain son of Belial, beset the house round about, and beat at the door, and spake to the master of the house, the old man, saying, Bring forth the men that come into thy house, that we may know him. And the man, the master of the house, went out unto them, and said unto them, Nay, my brethren, nay, I pray you, do not so wickedly, seeing that this man is come into mine house. Do not this folly. Behold, here is my daughter, a maiden, and his concubine. Them I will bring out now, and humble ye them, and do with them what seemeth good unto you. But unto this man, do not so vile a thing. So, these were sodomites, basically. And they like knocking on the door, like, hey, we want to sleep with him. Basically, send that man out here. And they like, nah. We got these women, though. I got my daughter that's a virgin and his concubine. Verse 25. But the men would not hearken to him. So the man took his concubine and brought her forth unto them, and they knew her, and abused her all the night until the morning. And when the day began to spring, they let her go. How cruel and wicked, right? So when I think of this, I just paint a picture. And I know she didn't just go out there willingly. It says he took her and brought her forth to them. So in my head, I see her holding on to the doorpost, not wanting to go out there because of what they did, you know. And it's not, I mean, just imagine they beating on the door. It's a whole bunch of men want to do some wicked folly. Don't no woman want to go out there, you know. But let me just go ahead and finish reading. Then came the woman in the dawning of the day, and fell down at the door of the man's house, where her Lord was, till it was light. And her Lord rose up in the morning, and opened the doors of the house, and went out to go his way. And behold, the woman, his concubine, was fallen down at the door of the house, and her hands were upon the threshold. So it didn't say he went out to look for her. He was about to leave. He was about to be on his way. It says, and he rose up in the morning and opened the doors and went out to go his way. And that's when he saw her. Imagine that as a woman. Imagine that. Hard, right? It's hard to wrap your head around it. And he said unto her, Up, let us be going. That sounds so cruel to me. This just happened to me, and you like, up, come on, let's go. Get up. But none answered. Then the man took her upon an ass, and the man rose up and got him unto his place. And when he was come into his house, he took a knife and laid hold on his concubine, and divided her together with her bones into 12 pieces, and sent her into all the coasts of Israel. And it was so, that all that saw it said, There was no such deed done, nor seen from the day that the children of Israel came up out of the land of Egypt unto this day. Consider of it, take advice, and speak your minds. So I mean, she was used because of war. They went to war behind this. Like, do you see what they did to my concubine? But the point of this was to imagine being in her shoes, being a woman in these days. Like, hard. I couldn't imagine. So I just want to read this real quick. Let me see. This is what happened in Genesis 3, verse 16. We should keep this in mind. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. Well, we could see that in all the examples that I read. We should be able to see that. So just go over what we read real quick. Your desire should be unto your husband. Even though that woman didn't want to be with that man that her father gave her to, she should have stayed there and not played the whore. Now, like I said, it doesn't say that, and I'm a look into her a little bit more because of this, but it doesn't say that she laid with another man. We know what would have happened if she had laid with another man. She wouldn't have been able to go back to, I should probably read that. Well, I'ma just say it because I don't know how long I've been on. I be trying not to make these too long, and I can really it could go forever. Like, you could add another verse, like, oh, let me show you this, let me show you that, let me show you this, let me show you that, let me show you this. Like, so I'm just gonna say some things, and then, you know, any questions or whatever where they are, you know, I can show you. But if you married and you leave your husband and lay with another man, you can't go back to that husband. It's no going backsies. Like, no. You moved on, you move forward. That is it an abomination? I don't remember. I gotta check and see. But if she had played the whore like that, I don't think she would have been going back to her Lord, her husband. But because she did what she did, went back home for 4 whole months to her daddy house, you know, that happened to her. She was used in that situation. We see that women could not just choose their husbands back in those days. Look at Dinah. All them men were killed because Shechem went out of order. He should have asked first. He probably would have gotten a no. Because like he said, y'all uncircumcised. We don't do that. We don't give our daughters to y'all. But he laid with her. And we see that didn't make her his wife. He got to be with her and enjoy her for a little while. Very short period of time. But then that was cut down. Because we saw in Exodus, 22:16, where it said, you know, if her father utterly refused, well, Jacob refused. Yeah. We saw that laying with a woman on her cycle is a complete abomination. When a woman had her cycle, she was completely put out of the camp, because anything that, if blood got on the man, he was unclean for 7 days. Blood that was on anything was unclean until the even. And we saw how when a woman had a child, she was set away from the camp. Well, she was, separated for some days. 40 days, for a male child and 70 days, I think, for a female child, if she had a daughter. It was something I wanted to look into. I was basically trying to connect some dots about how, the blood, it makes us unclean because in the blood is life. The life is in the blood. But I didn't have a chance to get real deep into it and really prove it with scripture. But the same way the woman is separated when she has her cycle, when she gives birth, it just had me thinking about when woman was created from the rib, from the inside. Everything came from, the inside. But I ain't gonna get into deep into that because, like I said, I haven't. I proved it to me, but I don't have it to where I can prove it to you. But yeah. So that's that, and I'll see y'all next time. That's it. Peace and blessings. Bye.